working with the whole symphony. It was a wonderful opportunity, something that I haven't done in a long, long time. But the story itself is what really grabbed my attention. It's a universal story. It transcends time, it transcends place, and it really focuses in on the humanity of a good man. I mean, he's gone and served his country, he's fought in the military, he's not running away from the war, he's not a coward by any way, shape, or form. He's going home to see his mother, he's going home to see his fiancée, he's going home to start a new life. And on his way home to all the things that he thinks is going to bring him joy, he just has this chance encounter with something that turns his life 180 degrees and takes him places that he never thought he would go. In many respects, the music is the subtext of the character. It's their emotional life. It's part of their through line. The music is the heart, is the soul, is the unspeakable word. And when you add the two together, the intellect and the soul together, you have a very powerful story in A Soldier's Tale.
The Soldier's Tale is one of the pieces in which Stravinsky takes music from the 19th century into the 20th century. Written in 1918, it's significant for so many ways. I mean, first of all, the ensemble, these 7 players, 2 of each of each orchestral section, 2 strings, 2 winds, 2 brass, and then the percussion represented by a single player. So there's just 7 players, but you get this full orchestral sound. But Stravinsky also takes these little bits of music, these tiny motifs, and he uses them in such a 20th century way. Beethoven were used to these motifs. They add up one after the other, building clear sentences and logic. And in the 20th century, that logic gets a little bit disconnected. And in fact, rhythm, especially in Stravinsky's case, begins to become even more important than harmonic development. And so you have little bits of music which are repeated almost as obsessively. Is one example.
The violin represents the artistic soul, the creative soul, the pure soul of the individual. It's the one thing that the devil wants more than anything else. By stealing this from the soldier, by conning him out of that musical string that ties his whole life together, that gives him happiness, he takes everything else along with him.
As soon as we planned to do The Soldier's Tale, I thought of Violette Verdy, who's been a friend since we first encountered one another in the 1980s. My first real job was as music director of the Boston Ballet, and Violette was artistic director at the time. Now, Violette Verdy is one of the great dancers of the 20th century.
I was asked, and I don't remember who asked, to dance the princess in Soldier's Tale in 1952, and it was in Switzerland, because since the writer, the libretto is by Ramuse, who is such a famous Swiss writer. A young choreographer who was asked to do the choreography was a friend of mine. I had danced with him a few times, and he was already showing some talent as a choreographer. So he wanted to do this, and of course for the princess, it's really mostly those 3 wonderful dancers that follow each other without interruption. There was no one to make costumes, so my mother offered to make costume and did. I can't remember all the details, but she tried to keep into somehow the style and the subject and all this. And that's how it began. I felt that I was really like a dancer more than anything else. Mm-hmm. But I sort of let the music and the dance give me my character, mm-hmm. in a way, mm-hmm. because I had so little to do really with the soldier in the end. Yes. I was more like a vision for him in a way.
thing that drives the soldier more than anything else is that home has been taken away from him. And he can't find a substitution for it. He never gets to have a conversation with his mother again. He never gets to have that last word with his fiancée. He carries those memories around in his backpack, trying to hold on to something that is absolutely precious to him. So in that context, I think it's a truly universal story that ties into every serviceman who's ever gone abroad or been away from home for any length of time. The irony is that having gone away and come back, you really discover very quickly that home is never home again. So, you have that romanticized view of home, the reality of home, and what you carry inside yourself. And I think if you're always going to carry that little bit of romanticism with you wherever you go. That's part of what really appeals to me, the show. I'm an old romantic myself, and I love these epic stories that transcend time that way.